Welcome to Joy Asanya Live this beautiful evening. It's wonderful to be here. Today we are once again spotlighting the initiatives that the federal government had promised young people and what has come out of it. According to the Minister of Communication a couple of months back, we have more than 11 initiatives and programs that the government had unveiled so that young people can access and get empowered, some for skills, some for grants and loans and all that, all targeted to economically empowering the Nigerian youth. Where has that gotten us? What's the impact of it all? Well, recently too, on the 25th of October, just a couple of months back, the president also announced during a public, a nationwide broadcast that he is going to have a 30-day confab. That is a conference for 30 days where young people can come talk about their challenges, prefer solutions to the challenges, bedeviling them, and maybe get those resolutions adopted by the administration. Since that announcement, we've not heard anything from the presidency. Has he forgotten all this? That is exactly what we'll be discussing on today's edition of the program, talking about the initiatives of government, the impact of these initiatives, the implementation process of these initiatives, where we are heading. It doesn't seem like those youth initiatives are even seeing the light of day. Very often it seems like when the young people go out to protest, the president comes out with a national broadcast, gives them a wonderful speech. By the way, shout out to whoever writes the president's speeches. If your tempers are high, he just sure knows how to cool your tempers. Like, tempers should not flare. That's what we get to see all the time. And after the tempers are down and everybody is waiting in anticipation of what the president has promised, Nigerians being Nigerians, we once again forget about all of that. But today we would be highlighting all those promises, all those initiatives and programs. That's what we'll be discussing on today's edition of Joy Asanya Live. Stay tuned, promises to be interesting, and as usual, you too can give us your thoughts on all that. The 30-day confab the president had promised. Where are we on it? Is there any KPIs? Is anybody working towards it? Is there a committee, as is very very typical of us? Each time there are proclamations like that, you hear that a committee has been set up to see the implementation of it. What's going on? A new minister, or the Minister of State for Youth, was upgraded to the Minister of Youth, and I would expect that one of those actions would be getting that 30-day, although some of us had criticized that Nigerian youths do not need 30 days, delegates from across Nigeria to once again converge and speak English and talk about what we already know, and we've been there before, done that, and frankly, I do not see how that can culminate to anything fruitful. I believe that we already know the challenges bedeviling the Nigerian people. If you want to look into technology, let's get enabling environment for young people to thrive in that sector. There are several other sectors. There's the agricultural sector. Get industrialized. Let's get equipment, modern equipment that young people can get in there. There are security challenges that must be addressed, and it goes without saying, do we need the rocket science of some confab of several young people, delegates from all 774 local governments of Nigeria to converge in Abuja, most likely, although the nitty-gritty of this confab was not announced. It was just one of those things the president said so that we just keep quiet, and I'm hoping that young people will rise up, listening to me right here, to say, you know what, Mr. President, let us hear you talk more about this. If this is where your head is at, this is where you want us to go, let's hear you. You can't just make these proclamations and that's it. Who remembered that during one of those national broadcasts, the president also had promised, had declared at the time, state of emergency on food insecurity, and again we're like, oh my goodness, this is exactly what we want to hear. State of emergency. I remember experts in the whole 9 yards of the food chain were so excited that once again it's going to be a state of emergency, meaning everything literally drops for activities that will get us working. What do we need in the agricultural sector? I remember people beginning to write policy suggestions. People were writing proposals for government to see how, you are government, you can do everything at once, so you don't need to leave everything and concentrate on one. There are sectors and cohorts and people who have brought themselves together in different sectors. If you really want to change in wheat production, if you want to change in maize production, look at this, how much we are importing flour here in the country, and you can see the ripple effect in the prices of bread. And so we have all it takes. Just give us the opportunity to tell you what you need, and we will start working. And that's where I always thank Nigerians. We are very patriotic people. And after that, what happened to that state of emergency on food insecurity? Young people were supposed to be employed. We also heard about the micro and small enterprise, small and medium-sized enterprises that were supposed to be empowered. I remember the words exactly that were used at the time was energized. There were loans that were to be given. Again, economic experts were excited over the roof as to, oh yes, this is what we really need in our economy. This government seems to know exactly what we need. Fuel subsidy has been removed. Let's redirect those amounts of monies into these initiatives. You're right. Let's again energize the nano, the micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. Let's see how we can get young people to do businesses. Let's encourage them, let's empower them, let's give them skills and all of that. And after that, nothing. But again, I will be back after this short break. When we return, I will unveil my guest, and then we get into this wonderful conversation. And I'd like to also hear from you towards the end of this program, to hear what you think about government's proclamations, especially the president. The president has good initiatives, has very wonderful plans, and after these plans are made known, it seems like the ministries and agencies that should drive the process often forget about what the president said. And for the life of me, I do not understand why. But immediately we go ahead to our young people again say, you know what, this economy is biting, we need to do something about it, we're going to shut down, we're going to... That energies that should have been put into ensuring these initiatives do work, we no longer see it. We now see that they're trying to stop this protest. Oh, you could see from every quarter where they tell you, oh my goodness, going on the protest is very dangerous. People are going to hijack the protest. We have intel. We have intel that there are some people who are trying to cause mayhem, and true to the fact, true to the word, you actually do see young people who, for some reason, during the protest, would actually start destroying properties as if they are playing by the gallery. And I ask myself, could this be all planned? And I know a lot of Nigerians would swear with their lives that it is government again that tries to thwart the peaceful protest just to ensure that we told you it was going to be turned violent, it was going to be disrupted, the properties were going to be destroyed. But I like to think that there's no government in the world that want to destroy public facilities that taxpayers have paid excruciating money, and I say that with all intent and purposes, excruciatingly for. I like to think there's no government that will be that self-destructive. However, we do see young people go into this protest and destroy. But I think this government is so used to having young people back and not really bite, that they can come up, make this proclamation. We hear the president will make this proclamation. When last did the president do a nationwide broadcast just because he wants to address Nigerians? Or maybe even the tax bill that we keep talking about, this proposed tax bill, just have this national broadcast to say, you know what, this is where my head is at, these are the people I think would benefit from this, these are the things I hope to achieve with this tax bill. That communication that you often see in other climes, where if you are hearing wealth from the graveyard, and you see people beginning to murmur about a proposed tax bill. Usually you will hear the president, who is proposing it in the first place, to come out and say, you know what, this is the reason why I think this tax bill would redefine our economy, that equitable distribution of wealth that we keep talking about in this country. This is where we're going to achieve it. We don't see that. But should you want to go on a protest, you hear promises and promises. What's happening to the youth confab? What's happening to the more than 11 initiatives of government that we hear the president had promised over time? Well, we'll be back after this to discuss more. Stay with us. This is still Joy Asani Live. Welcome back from that. Now joining me to discuss or expand that conversation I had earlier is Mohammed Majo. He's a youth leader. It's good to have you join us talking about the President's youth initiatives and the impact that it has made so far. But thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, it's wonderful. So you're a young person. You've been working around the youth space, which I commend you for. But let's get into the conversation of where you think this president, this administration, the renewed hope agenda is when it comes to actually having impactful youth initiatives that young people can always look at and say, you know what, he had his head right. This is where his policy direction is. He's trying. He wants us to be more productive and all that.
Actually, you know, everything has a starting ground. There's a reason why we are where we are today in Nigeria, which is because there are decisions that we should have taken earlier before now, which we had no option to take them now. And at this trying time, there's definitely used to be a lot of obstacles, a lot of challenges along the way. But I am really confident that the current administration is working round the clock to provide no alternative way to better the situation. We actually understand there's challenges in the country, and Nigerian youths are facing serious challenges in that lane, but still we have to endure, we have to cope with the situation, because that is the only way. There's no any other alternative way other than us undergoing those reforms now, so that in the near future ourselves and our upcoming children should enjoy the Nigeria for all.
Oh, that's wonderful, and I like that you're very optimistic. I mean, the president, the Minister of Communications earlier, a couple of weeks back, while talking to young people, reminded them about more than 11 initiatives that this administration has introduced.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, is anybody really benefiting from those initiatives? What's happening? I mean, you work in that space.
Yes.
We don't seem to have heard anything from government since those proclamations of we are going to do this.
Actually, you know how the process is undergoes, and all those initiatives the Minister made mention, they are there and they are into existence. What remains are for the Nigerian youth to explore them. It's not just an opportunity, is the opportunity cannot just come to you unless when you take the right step in exploring the opportunity. Many of the opportunities, maybe they might have one or two requirements that you need, that will guarantee you or that will allow you to have a chance of having one or two of the opportunities. So it is left for Nigerian youth to have the technical requirements for them to access those opportunities. As he said, the opportunities are there, they are there in abundance. And the reason why I think the president is trying to bring in these initiatives is to carry the youth along, so that they will find another ways that they can leverage on themselves, build their own capacity, and become much more important to the Nigerian labor market.
If you have what they call a staircase conversation, let's say that quick 5 minutes opportunity with the president now.
Yes.
What would you say? Would you say, sir, you're doing the right thing, young people are empowered, and young people have, you know, with your initiatives, with the policies you have introduced so far, we are very excited. You can even mention in numbers. You can say, okay, 1,000 people have been taken out of poverty. Can you do that? Or what would your 5 minutes be?
Wow. My 5 minutes with the president is, one, appreciate the initiatives he is bringing, and two, because one thing that I believe, the responsibility of getting country to track is not a responsibility of the government alone.
The responsibility of
getting country back to track is not a responsibility of the government alone.
It beholds on all of us.
Yes, the government can play its part, which the president has done, whereby bringing in initiatives and including youth in his administration. What is left is for the Nigerians to make proper utilization of the opportunity. No matter how opportunities are in abundance, if you don't make an attempt to cleanse them or maybe utilize them, you no longer have them. I believe the fact that president can sit down, come out with a lot of initiatives, it means that he is hopeful and he is willing to support the Nigerian youths. What is the remaining is for the youth to take advantage of the opportunities. No matter how we want to help you, no matter how we want to support you, if you are not really ready to support yourself, it will not lead to anywhere. That's one. And then I think having 5 minutes with the president, it should be the president policies are good and more windows should be open for proper youth inclusion and maybe expansion of those opportunities to a larger extent. I know the president is trying and he is trying, but in the same vein, we the youthful population need to also do more, because we cannot sit down just to be looking at the government to do it alone. When you look at the developing countries, when you realize the youthful population has been the engine towards their development, and I feel Nigeria too, we can do the same, and our youthful population is something that we can take to advantage to build a Nigeria to a greater heights.
So have you had engagement with young people, and what's the reception like to these initiatives that have been churned out? I mean, there's the nano, micro and small enterprises. There's the, we're going to do a 30-day confab. There's been several promises. There's one, the youth fund, where young people were supposed to come, young investment fund and all of that. There's been several. Would you say that young people are not receptive to it? Is there distrust? Is there a reason why we're not seeing young people rush towards assessing these opportunities that you call them opportunities, but I'm thinking they are just one of those proclamations government made so that you just keep quiet?
No. Actually, I came from a youth background. I had a privilege of serving 2 times as a student union government president. I served as the national president at the student level. I am actually a special advisor on student affairs as well to the executive governor Kebbi State, even though that's not the reason why we're here. I believe the fact that plans can be made to curtail the angle of youth, that means a lot, number one.
Okay, that's a good intention.
That's good intention, number one. And then it's not just intention, plans are being made, and then maybe ways and procedures are being made available for youth to explore. And I think if this can be put in place, what is remaining is for, up to now, I still go back to the youth, because it's not about bringing in initiatives. Like right now, maybe there are some states that offers 100% scholarships on education. But by the way, you realize that people that are studying in that state, someone will see was third class, maybe someone would even go to withdraw or what have you. That is not to say there is no effort that is being made to support that particular person, but it's the willingness of the person in question on either to utilize the opportunity the right way or otherwise.
Well, I mean, I understand if I'm hungry and you're offering me food,
yes,
I will rush it. But why are we saying that Nigerian youths are hungry? Nigerian youths do not have the necessary skill for the jobs, contemporary jobs necessary, needed rather. Why are we saying that the Nigerian youth right now are unemployed? And the government initiatives are right there, and they're not rushing towards it. I would expect they should be scrambling to get a spot. Why are we not getting that? Is it distrust? What is going on there?
Actually, something that I understand with Nigerian youth, there is one contemporary misconception ongoing.
Okay.
Anyone that comes within our own age gap might have come or might have met a parent with one particular ideology, which is study hard, get a good degree, and find a job.
Okay.
Which that has been a formula we have been applying for long, which might have worked during our own parents, but our own time, that formula is no longer applicable. So many of the Nigerians, you see a youth like going to university, maybe a focus is only let me just go and get this degree, whereas you can explore other extracurricular skills that you can equip yourself, that you can make yourself like more prepared or more ready for opportunities when they come. But how will opportunity come to you when you are not ready to exploit? No matter how we are willing to help our youthful population, our youthful population have a role to play. You have to equip yourself with the technical know-how and the necessary knowledge required for you to cleanse any opportunity that comes. Like maybe let's take a look at, let's say, NYIF, Nigeria Investment Fund, or maybe let's look at NIA or what have you. All those ones are initiatives that are made for Nigeria to explore, right?
Exactly.
Maybe you might realize there are maybe some technical requirements, or maybe grants program that are, maybe you need to have a business plan, maybe you need to have maybe a feasible business plan of something that is workable, that you can work maybe within your own community and utilize. But maybe for someone just to sit down and develop that is a barrier. Seeing that maybe I may just have to maybe write maybe a statement of purpose, or maybe I have to write a business plan, that alone.
You will also admit that we are a semi-literate country where a lot of young people, I mean, if at the moment we are recording 25 million children out of school, and this is 2024, you can understand what has been going on over the years. And so largely the population that needs this help will not be able to write this concept note you're talking about. I mean, I also went through the requirements. There's a proposal that's necessary, and that is where we now capture individuals who are portfolio, who by the book fits some of those criteria, but they're not the ones who should be reached out to. Do you think these initiatives have really targeted the young people who need this help?
I think the initiative has targeted the young people. What matters is the proper awareness. I think it's not a responsibility, like now when the opportunity comes on board, what government does is to create awareness for people to know of it. But then it's not something that a federal government alone is going to do.
Who else should champion this?
It's a collective responsibility.
But how do the stakeholders invest in what
the stakeholders are many, ranging from maybe the government actors, maybe the non-government actors, civil society organization, and development partners that are already there. So it's a collective work. When we decide to leave the job for the government alone, it is hectic. There is insecurity. There is educational sector. Okay. There are many areas to focus on. But this is something that we need all hands on deck. Youth sector is critical sector that need everybody's input. If now president or the administration can bring in a plans to curb youths out of the poverty, then the non-state actors, maybe civil society organization, should come on. Let's see how we can create massive awareness, how we can simplify the procedures, how people from different places can get to know of them. Like let's say all the opportunities that comes, mostly you see them in English. Let's say maybe they come in English language, maybe the procedures, everything in English. There is large number of youth that maybe cannot even explore that English language.
I agree.
There are people that do not even speak the English, do not even comprehend English.
Exactly.
So that means there is need for multiple approach to it. Maybe let's say maybe someone is Ebra and decided, oh, there is an organization that speaks on Ebra, or maybe that stand on Ebra. How do they translate those policies to their people in Ebra so they can make good use of them? Maybe how someone is Fulani, how do we translate it to your people so that they can get to know of them? They should explore them. Maybe you are Igbo.
And that is not the role of government. The government that's initiating their the so-called perfect blueprint. Is that there? You still think it is not within their purview? Civil society should bring out funds and champion it.
It's not bringing funds.
It will funds. Logistics to even get to these towns and maybe even get materials that will be peculiar to these individuals. It will be fun.
I think as I said earlier, the responsibility is not governments alone. And everybody that truly believes in this Nigeria must accept that fact.
Right.
And if that is there, then we should take it as our collective responsibility. Where government can reach, it's fine and good. Where the government cannot reach, let us see how can we augment, how can we support. And let it not be only the federal government. We have state government, right? We have local governments. So all these ones are critical state actors that need to put hands together. Let it not be maybe this is an initiative by federal government until the federal government make massive publication. That's when people will get to know of it. That is when people will make utilization of it. No, it's an opportunity. Then maybe now, like right now, maybe I am special advisor on student affairs to Kebbi State Governor. I saw the federal government scholarship ongoing. Do I have to wait until the like dissemination of information of the federal government reaches people from Kebbi before I should let them know of the opportunity?
Of course no.
I should use my own opportunity to disseminate the information to them as an individual so they could get to know of it and they can leverage on it. That is what everybody should do. It is not like we just sit down and be looking at the government to do it all. It's not possible. That's not the way it is done, even in developing countries.
Okay, with that, we'll go for a short break. When we come back from that short break, my guests will be responding to other questions, such as the youth confab that was also proposed by the government, the 30-day youth confab that seemed to have died down, and several others that young people are sitting, waiting patiently for, especially in the agricultural sector. We'll be right back. Welcome back from that. This is still Jonathan Live, where we are discussing youth initiatives of government and how impactful it has been so far. Like I told you earlier, my guest this evening is Mohammed Majo, a youth leader, and so much more. But I'd just like to ask, I mean, the president had recently also announced the youth confab. I know that youth leaders such as yourself at the time gathered, a lot of people started forming coalition as to mobilization for delegates that will even attend an event. There was what's going on? Nobody's talking about that any longer.
Actually, I said earlier, I am Mohammed Majo by name, and born out of the grassroots mobilization. I had a privilege of serving as a student union government president, I said earlier, for 2 consecutive times, which is rare in Nigeria. At the same time, serving as the national president, still in the student sector. I as well currently serve as the special advisor on student affairs, as I said earlier, which makes me to be a critical stakeholder in each sector. And regarding the conference, actually, conference, I think one of the key figure is to arrive at conclusion on how to in a programmatic way invest maybe support area of youth entirely. That is a critical, and then it's not something that maybe can just come haphazardly. Like the president has says, this is going to be captured, this is going to take place, let's just do it anyhow. No, it's something that requires strategic planning and implementation. And I think all the necessary stakeholders are now getting in touch on how to make proper planning and engagement, so that the real people that are really from constituents should have active participation in it, and it should be robust and comprehensive, where all sectors, all angles that revolve around it will be duly addressed. I think right now, maybe next week, there is going to be National Youth Council meeting that's supposed to take place in Borno, which is also part of the policies, part of the ways to bring all the youth stakeholders in one basket. Let's sit down together, let's brainstorm. The government has brought in initiatives. What can we do more? I firmly believe in the presidency of His Excellency President Mohammed Tinubu, and I believe in his passion for youth development. And you can see from his cabinet, you can see a large number of youth being involved in the administration.
What cabinet are we been looking at?
Look at the cabinet. Yes, and look at the age around.
But then again, in Nigeria, everybody is a youth. Because if you go by the cabinet, I can give you the names and their age, the age bracket.
What we want is to have a larger portion or a particular portion of youth to be included in the government. Right. But I believe that is done, not like the way it has happened in the past.
Okay.
Yes, that is important.
So we are once again excited over the essays, youth serving as essays and script writers and all that. But we have a caller who probably wants to contribute to the conversation. Let's hear from him. Hello, good evening.
Thank you. Good evening.
Many thanks for joining us. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Okay, my name is Honorable Boko. I'm calling from Abakaliki in Ebonyi State.
Good to hear from you. What's your contribution tonight?
My contribution is that the youth that is sitting in the studio with you there is a privileged Nigerian youth.
Privileged?
Yes, he does not understand what the youth of Nigeria is passing through. He is defending the interest of the government in power, of the government where he is serving. He is not feeling the pain of the Nigerian youth. The Nigerian youth of today, their future has been stolen.
How is that?
Of between 18 years and 40 years have nothing doing. So when we let their future come? So all the programs that have been rolled out by this government since inception, how many of them have the use of Nigeria said? So he is talking from a privileged background.
Okay.
He's not talking from the background of Nigerian youth who are deprived of their future and their hope.
Okay, so he will respond to that.
Let him tell himself the truth, whether what he's telling us is what is happening in Nigeria as a youth leader.
Okay, so
that was a youth leader of all youth leaders in Nigeria, and I know what it means to be a youth leader.
Okay.
Not telling us the truth.
Thank you for your time.
Not what the youth of Nigeria is feeling today.
Thank you for your time. So he will respond to that. We have yet another caller. Hello there. Good evening. Hello, can you hear us? Okay, I think the network is being a bit lousy, but he thinks you are talking from a privileged perspective, where I mean you're serving the governor as essay on something on student affairs, right?
Yes.
Yes, you're serving the governor on student affairs. You may not be feeling how it's pinching when you defend government to say that, you know what, government has a good intention.
Actually, I think this his comment or this his questions needs to take us back a little bit with my background, where I came from. Actually, it's not about becoming from a privilege or otherwise. I'm a typical Fulani man, person that had a rare chance of coming to school. In fact, I think from my own community where I came from, I think I was the only person that was opportune to attend to tertiary institution level. In the entire community? My entire community.
Wow,
like,
that's something to celebrate.
So I am, to say that I came from the privilege angle, I think...
But it's still possible that you came from that background and here you are rolling with the big boys.
No, I think it's for someone that maybe didn't have profile of my background and where I came from. When my parents took me to school, it was like back then people were thinking they were mad or they don't know what they were doing, especially for a Fulani man. When you are first child, the focus of everybody is as you grow up, less you be taken care of.
Right.
Maybe you be taking care of the cows and co and thereabout. But he chooses at that time to send me to school.
But beyond your humble beginning, let's talk about your engagement with youth that will give you the right to say, you know what, this government is actually doing a lot for the youth.
Sorry?
Beyond your humble beginning, let's get to what you do now. What you do? How is your engagement with young people? Have you engaged enough to know that, okay, having engaged with the young people, having also explored the many initiatives of government, I can say, like you have said, that government is doing the right thing with the policy direction that they have and the pace of implementation.
Yes. What I am trying to say is, there is this fact that we all have to agree to it. I understand the country is facing a serious economic challenges. That one is there, but there is a reason why we are here. As I said earlier, there are decisions that this country should have taken since before now, which we did not. And the President Aswaju Bola Tinubu, upon coming, he took on those bold decisions. We all know to fix things, to get things right is not easy. And everything at initial will not look as how you wanted it. Like now, maybe this studio, I know maybe let's say some few years back it was not as the way it is looking today. But today we are all here and everything is looking nice. So we don't expect during the reform time things to get better or things to get the way we expect them to be.
Right. So maybe Nigerians are asking for fast pace.
Definitely, if we want reform to take place, it will have to be on a gradual process. Right now, someone cannot just fall and have a broken leg and expect himself to get fixed today or tomorrow.
Is that where Nigeria is at the moment?
Taking away fuel subsidy is composed like it's a decision that we have to take in order for our economy to thrive. That's what the administration did. And of course, the current consequences we are currently facing are because of that decisions. I understand the government is doing a lot, and still there is need for government to open more doors of opportunities and the more ways of youthful inclusion, more ways of unity among the youth. But still, the youth themselves has to also do the right thing at the right time. No matter how initiatives are there, no matter how opportunities are being opened up, if you do not take a bold step in exploring them, my sister, there's no way you can get it.
Okay, so a lot have been emphasized on the youth, and frankly, I also have my reservations each time we hear, each time we talk about young people and we say, you know, they should do better and all that. I do understand. However, we've also seen instances where these young people have been failed over time with initiatives of government, where they actually go try to access these portals and nothing comes out of it. So I would like you to expand on that, to get people listening to you to say, you know what, maybe you have information that I don't, but I would like you to address them as to whether or not there should be trust, because they have tried over the years, they don't get it, only they've watched certain individuals get it. They've watched it become some sort of political compensation for party members. They've watched all of this, and these are supposed to be national initiatives. So
Yes.
you won't blame them today for not trusting the process. So I have my reservations too when you blame the youth. But what would you tell people listening to you right now?
Actually, I understand the fact that maybe some initiatives can come, maybe someone might apply, might not get, someone can get it, and I understand the political influence along the angle. That one is there, but that shouldn't stop anybody from exploring the opportunity. And there are opportunities that doesn't care of wherever you come from. Like maybe the previous administration has done their own, and now this is a new administration. A new administration might have new ways of approaching things. And if maybe you have tried something maybe previously you couldn't get it, that doesn't mean when you try now you couldn't get it. Some people are judging maybe this initiative, maybe from the previous initiative they might have had encountered with.
But that's all they've got. I mean, what would they judge by? They'll judge by their experiences.
Actually, administration differs. Maybe like 10 years ago, maybe it might be during the time of President Jonathan or maybe President Buhari, and now it's actually Bola Tinubu. So don't expect things to look the same. If maybe I brought something at first, that doesn't mean if you brought it, if you brought the same, if you brought it the same way, it will fail. So one, we have to believe in this country.
Right.
It is our country. We have no any other country other than Nigeria.
I agree.
And at the same time, we have to believe in the leadership of this country, because they are the ones in charge, and I think they are doing their best. What is left is for us, one, to make use of the opportunities and be patient a little bit. I know it is hard, and I know of how the economy is, but we have to bear with the situation. We don't get things fixed just randomly. It takes time. Actually, to build a mansion, it's a gradual process.
Of course.
It's not something you can do a day. It's not something you can say, maybe this building we're in is not something that can happen a single day or two. It's something that is a gradual process. And to reform policy of the country is not a serious it's not like something to joke with,
easy,
and
right.
it's not something easy. It's something that takes time, which everybody knows of that.
Okay.
So with the current situation, things are not really good as we anticipate them to be, but we are optimistic things will get better in the meantime.
Okay. Do you also engage with government in your little spaces? Maybe the ministry, maybe your governor, maybe the commissioners of youth. Do you also engage them to have? I know you are giving government a breakthrough, saying that these things do not really happen easily, but you also engage with young people, and you see where it bites. So, do you engage them? Do you also advise them to say, Oga, I know this is the policy direction you have suggested, but this is where I think it should go? And when you do that, what's the reception you get?
I engage with government thoroughly, especially from where I came from KB, which I believe anybody on air listening to us here from KB should have seen or should have known the impact that's been made in the youth angle in the youth sector. I believe even in the recent national youth, they've been commemorated. KB state government has sponsored, has supported over 700 youths and supported them with maybe startup capital so they can start something little to support their lives. Apart from maybe 100% scholarship that has been offered by the state government. And I think at that time, I was also part of the panelists where I address youth on how to make proper utilization of the little resources to grow your own businesses or to grow the idea you have. I think that some of our youthful population had the mindset that maybe I had a business idea that I would want to explore or that I would want to work on, but maybe I'll be thinking until I don't have a dime today, but I'll be thinking, I have a business idea of 10 million naira, and I don't get 10 million, I don't even have a dime, and I'll be waiting until when that 10 million naira comes to me, then that's when I will start to function and do that business, which doesn't work in that way. Everything you see in this life start at the beginning. If you have an idea, think of how do you break it down into pieces. What can I start with? From here I move here, from here I move here. When you look at great people that are currently parodying, that are currently maybe running the business sector, running the government process, they might have started somewhere. So we have to agree with the step-by-step process. That vision you have, or maybe that dream you have to achieve, you have to understand how do we dissect it to a smaller chunk where you'll be able to take it step by step.
But some people may be asking, how is it that when it comes to initiatives that should impact young people, we give them a break and say we should take it step by step? But when it comes to proclamations of bulletproof vehicles for our legislators and our public office servants, where you see them rub it in your faces with flashy lifestyles and cars, it's expedient. So can you also understand why you could see distrust among young people as well? Like, really, these individuals can afford to do this, and it's expedient, it's quick, it's before Jack Robinson, it's been approved, like it was said a couple of months back. Greetings have been sent to your mail, and you and I know what that meant. And it was our Senate that was saying greetings have been sent to your mail in a quick response to salvage the situation of talking about allowances. But yeah, it's only expedient when it comes to government and public office holders, but never when it comes to youth initiatives that will see empowerment, that will see skill acquisition, that will see that productivity that is necessary to drive our economy. We keep talking about the number of youths that we have in our country, over 67%. Yes, over 67% percent youth, and with the energies that come, with the innovations that come.
Actually, in the area of maybe how things works with the government as well as the general population, I believe there are laws that guide the setting of whatever you see taking place. And I believe these leaders, I believe these leaders we are talking about, it is still the same young people that went down and voted for them into office. So it's you that voted for them to go and represent you, and now they are representing you and they are doing the other way around. So it's still your own decision to either allow them to continue doing the same, or maybe take other decisions to see that maybe other people might be there, yes, to take the chances. I think those are the individual decisions that maybe the Nigerians can make on their own, because maybe now you have voted for a particular person. Nobody can imagine any political position without the larger population of the youth. So if maybe I emerges, or maybe I become a political office holder, maybe via elections, that means there's a particular set of individuals that sacrificed their time and believe in me and supported me. So now it's left on me. If I have done well, then those young people that supported me will be there for me. If I not do well, it is still them that will go back to the drawing board. I think that yes, this is not the right person we can trust, and we can try another person.
But is that where our electorates are? Because when we also analyze electioneering, the campaign processes, are we really there yet in our leadership picking process where people actually say this is what we expect to see? What often happens is this during elections, they come, they give us money, we collect, we vote for them. When it's almost election time, they come again, they sprinkle money around us. We do not have the good roads, we do not have water, we do not have electricity. In fact, I was at a conference earlier. We were talking about internet penetration, 48% in Nigeria. 21st century Nigeria, 48% internet penetration. That's what we are recording in our country. Yes. And with all these issues, we still do not go back to this drawing table you just mentioned. So how do you engage to conscientize people to say, you know what, pick the leaders that will help?
I believe this, what is happening or what has happened, is an eye-opener to Nigerian youth entirely and Nigerians. If the fact that maybe somebody can just come to you and maybe bargain or maybe issues you money and you voted for him, you have lost your bargaining power. If maybe I come now, maybe I want to do something and I paid for it and you accepted the payment, then what do you mean?
You don't have the moral standing to still complain.
You have lost your bargaining power. So that calls for Nigerians to go back and work on ourselves. Let us know who are we choosing or who are we giving the mandate first. Then before we give the mandate, we will cast our vote. But you cannot come knowing fully this is the kind of person and this is how he is, this is the way he operates. You went ahead and voted for him knowing fully what he will do. Right. And now you come and be blaming people. Who will you blame?
Oh, okay. You're right. No arguments there. But in the final analysis, yes, for young people listening to you right now, what would be your concluding thoughts?
My concluding thoughts were, we have to believe in this country, and we have to contribute our part in building this country, no matter how little it is. It must not be those dreams we have in our minds, those dreams that we are viewing. We have to start working on them now. There's no any time other than now. Whatever you are wishing to start, whatever you are planning to start, start it now. And then any window of opportunity you see, make proper utilization of it.
Right.
Don't say maybe it did not work with someone, that means it will not work for me. It's entirely wrong. That's not the way it works. What may likely work for me may not be what will work for you. Okay. So that means any window of opportunity comes, we should also make proper utilization of it. And at the same time, the unity and the maybe peaceful coexistence in our society. I believe no matter how we will want to grow, no matter how we want to develop, if there's no unity among our youth, we are still dragging behind. So I believe the unity of Nigerian youth is one of the paramount and critical, which as well, I believe the government has brought in initiatives, but still the government should open more doors of opportunities, more ways of collaborating, more ways of carrying youth along. Now you don't tell me so. There's fact that has to be said. Right now I'm working with a lot of young people to see how can we come together, how do we contribute our part in supporting the young people in Nigeria, because it is our collective responsibility.
Exactly.
So I feel Nigerian youth should still believe in Nigeria, and there's still hope in Nigeria. It may not look the way we want it now, but I'm optimistic that things will get better in the right time.
Mohammed Majo, essay to the Kebbi State Governor on Student Affairs. He's also a youth leader. Thank you so much for being part of today's edition.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for having me.
So this is where we draw the curtains on today's edition of Joy Asoye Live. Remember that you too can contribute to this beautiful nation that we have. Do what you can, be productive, and as much as you can, forget about government. Be the government that you want to see. This is where we say goodbye.